it's Mark. I am the Sanderson Collector, and today I'm going to talk about The Lost Metal Around the World. The Lost Metal is the last book in Mistborn Era 2. It came out November 15th of 2022 at Dragonsteel 2022. I did a very fun trip to Dragonsteel and made a video about my trip, which you can check out up here. And today I now have 6 different editions of The Lost Metal in various languages from around the world, and I'm going to talk about all of these. We are starting off in English with the US Advanced Reader copy of The Lost Metal. This is kind of the cream of the crop, the most sought after version, and it looks like this. It has the same ISBN as the official hardcover, which you can see here on the copyright page, and otherwise has all the regular contents of the hardcover, maybe with a couple more typos inside, but everything else is in here, and that is the arc that corresponds to the hardcover of The Lost Metal. Here is my hardcover. I got this one at the release party, and it is numbered number 70. I am very proud of getting this number, very happy that I was able to trade with some friends and get it. The cover art on this one is done by Christian McGrath, and the glare on this one is because I have the cover wrapped in Broad Art, which is a service our booth offered at Dragonsteel 2022. And the cover does go with the covers for the rest of the series, and I like it for that reason. However, the spines do not align at all, and this is one of my biggest quibbles with the US publications. There's a nice little stair step of images here on the spines, and they really just don't work out at all. Tor logo changes in the middle. Brandon's name is a different size. So I'm not a big fan of the spines on these, but the covers are really good. This is the edition that most of y'all will have. There is a US international trade paperback, but I don't have it yet. So for now, it's just the US hardcover and arc, until we move over to the UK, where we have this edition with cover art by Sam Green. I really like this cover art because it actually shows Wax and Wayne doing detective-y stuff, being Harmony's sword and shield, and I think that the cover art is better and more reflective of the characters than the previous 3. They do go together nicely. Here is the full Era 2 set from the UK publisher, and I do think they go together nicely. Once again, the spines don't align very well on the shelf. The Lost Metal changed the publisher's logo and changed the font on Brandon's name and dropped the blue foiling. So yeah, not a fan. They don't have the swirly. They don't have a Mistborn novel in blue here. I'm not a fan of what they did with the spine, but this is my favorite Era 2 cover for Mistborn in the UK. They did release an international trade paperback as well, which I do have here. This one has the same cover art as the hardcover, and so this is what you might get if you're in, say, Australia or something, buying the UK edition. Moving on from there, we get our first translated edition, Spanish, with El Metal Perdido, which has cover art by Mark Simonetti. I absolutely love the Simonetti cover art for this series. Shadows, Bands, and Lost Metal in Spanish form a triptych. The cover art doesn't align quite right on the hardcover, so you can't see all of the blending here, but I have a poster that does show it somewhere, and it's absolutely amazing. Here are the full set of covers for Era 2 in Spanish. If you are looking to get the Spanish edition, the internet will tell you it's not out till March 3rd. That is a lie. It is already out. That might be a reprint date, but it did come out simultaneously with the US and UK editions, so you should be able to get it, although it may be out of print at the moment. Moving on to the final edition I have, Zaginiony Metal. Here is the Polish edition, and I'm sorry if my pronunciation of that was absolutely horrible. This is the Polish hardcover, case-wrapped with no dust jacket, of The Lost Metal in Polish, and the cover art for this one is by Dominik Broniak, who did cover art for all of the Mistborn books and many of the other books in Polish and Dutch. Here is the full series in Polish for Era 2. I really, really like the cover art, and I think on its own, without anything else to be considered, this might be my favorite, especially as we have, I believe, Maracy here featured prominently in a powerful position, although that might also be Steris. I can never tell them apart, but I think that's a very, very cool cover. I really love this cover. It is one of my favorites, although I might also have to go with the Spanish covers for my favorites, just because that triptych is so rusting cool. Those are all of the editions that I have in hand for now. There are several others coming out. I believe the Turkish one is supposed to be out in February this month. The German one is supposed to be out in June, and those two editions look like this. The Turkish one uses the US cover art. The German one has their own cover art to go with their series using a symbol. Rights have been sold in French, Italian, Chinese, and Bulgarian, but I have not actually seen pre-orders for those editions yet, so I'm not sure when they will be out. I want to know which one of these covers is your favorite. Please let me know in the comments. Personally, I think it's the Spanish edition because I love Mark Simonetti's art and I love the triptych that he did for the Era 2 books. I also want to know, are you going to go out and get any of these editions for your collection? Let me know in the comments if you think you're going to pick up any of these really cool editions of The Lost Metal from around the world. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and leave it a like and subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss future videos. I will be back next week with a video about some very cool misprints that I have collected, and I will see y'all in that one. Until then, happy collecting.